Hi everyone. Well, I'll continue to talk about the double-slit experiment. My physics from nature's perspective. I will try to be the nature, or I represent the nature, or God. Okay, so imagine you are an electron. Right before you enter the slit, double slit, one of the slit, you are here. And here are the wall made up the slit. And this is the most exterior electrons. Or here are the most outside layer of atoms made up the wall of the slit, or the edge of the slit. And you, as an electron, you can see and feel your fellow electrons and their electric fields. And here's a better picture. I found another one on the internet. And this particular board only got 2 bishops there. And so it's relatively realistic with all these electrons, and the blue lines represents the negative electric field, and the positive is red, and your electron and your blue, and you going to feel the push from the electrons negative field. And you're going to feel the pull from the nuclear, from the protons' positive electric field. So when you go through this slit, because in reality, electrons' positions is dynamic, is not static. I mean, this is just a chessboard, so the electrons are moving. But in reality, these electrons are moving around, and according to the most advanced quantum mechanics, and the distribution is Schrödinger's equation. But Schrödinger's equation is rather difficult to compute, and especially with for the higher atoms. And I guess the simpler ones like hydrogen has been calculated. But nevertheless, these electrons either these electrons is a particle and spinning around, or these electrons are the distribution and around the nuclei. You as an electron, you going through here. Sometimes the distribution of the electrons is a little less, and you're gonna feel the pull from the nuclei's positive electric field. And sometimes when a distribution, or when the electron is more distributed, let's say on the other side, or on this side, you're gonna feel the push from the negative electric field. So when you go through the slit, you're gonna feel pull and push. And that is a dynamic process. Therefore, each different electron at each different time going through a slit going to experience different pull and push combination. Depends on the motion of or the distribution of all these electrons. Sometimes on this side it's relatively positive, sometimes on this side is relatively negative. And as an electron going through, you're gonna feel either push or pull. And this happens periodically because the distribution is a circle. And a traditional model, the electrons like planets around the sun, and that's a particle model, then it is also a periodic situation. So as an electron going through that slit, you're going to experience different combination of a pull and a push. And this pull and a push occurs periodically. So you can imagine the eventual result coming out of the slit. Your final destination or your final direction, your speed as absolute scalar, it may not change, but your speed as a vector, the direction gonna change. And because the experience is periodic, so your direction, the final direction is also the change of it, the result of it is also going to be periodic. Therefore, the result is similar to water waves interference pattern. I hope I have made that clear enough. So, for me, I think this is a better explanation of an interference pattern of a double-slit experiment with electron or proton, because proton is also an electromagnetic field. When it goes through a situation like this, if you were a the photon, for being a electric magnetic field, when you go through this, you also going to experience periodical pull and push, just like an electron. But electron, of course, is only a negative field, and so it's relatively simpler compared to photon. Nevertheless, another factor must be emphasized is that the speed going through the slit, photon, of course, is speed of light, and actually the electron come out of electron guns. Speed is also rather high. I guess is relatively speaking comparable to speed of light, and for a tiny mass of an electron, and that high of a speed, and also carry a charge of a negative charge going through the slit. Although the electromagnetic field is relatively weak, but your speed is relatively high. Imagine electric motor. That the electric current, the speed is very slow because in a wire, the electrons are packed. It's like lining up, buying some popular iPhone or something. So it's moving really, crawling. It's even that speed can produce pretty high push and pull. So you can imagine a tiny electron goes through a split, gonna go through a slit, going to experience rather torturous pull and push. So eventually, when an electron come out of a slit, its magnitude, a magnitude of speed may not change. However, the direction as a vector gonna change. And because the interaction is periodic, so eventually the change is also periodic. In that sense, the periodic, it's a quantum concept, and then eventually the pattern you get is similar to the water waves interference pattern. All right, so now I'm gonna introduce a concept called electromagnetic environment, which means every material or everything really, as long as there is an atom or electron or proton. It has a electromagnetic environment. When it's a simpler thing like electron, sure, it has a electromagnetic field. When it is a atom, we all know, although for an atom, the number of proton and the number of electron is the same. Therefore, the positive charge and negative charge, the total sum is 0. However, the field, the positive electric fields of the proton and the negative electric fields of the electron, as fields, they do not cancel each other out. There's still electromagnetic field left, which eventually produce the chemical bonds and produce all kinds of molecules. That's what we know. However, when you have a large quantity of atoms or molecules, a solid of say a piece of a rock or a wood or a metal even, it has a electromagnetic field around it, although the total sum of the charge is 0. However, the overall electromagnetic field is not 0. And generally speaking, near the surface is a bit stronger, and near the edge or the corner, if there's a point, it's gonna be, relatively speaking, stronger. More that field is more powerful. So, like a double slit, for example, double slit gonna have an edge. Say a slit. Slit gonna have 2 edges. When the electron goes through the slit, and near the edge, the electron gonna feel hot, more powerful push and pull. When the electron is right in the middle, and either side probably cancel it out. And probably you can't, when it is right in the middle, it's probably gonna go straight through. When it a little bit on one side, it's gonna push, gonna feel a little bit more pull and push from the one side, and vice versa, the other side. So hopefully I have made myself clear enough that the mechanisms cause the interference pattern of electrons and photons are different from the mechanisms caused the water waves double slit interference pattern. And the general concept or the general nature of this particular phenomenon is that every material has its own electromagnetic fields. So I would call it electromagnetic environment. Everything has its own electromagnetic environment. Like you, me, we also have electromagnetic fields near us. And on our fingertips, it's probably a little bit higher. And so on our hair, probably even higher. And that's probably why, when we touch something, some electric thingy, the hair gonna spread out. That's partially the reason. So everything carries its electromagnetic fields. Because it's rather complicated, because the total sum is 0, so I'm gonna call it electromagnetic environment. It provides, or it brings its own electromagnetic environment everywhere, as us goes. And we're gonna, everywhere we go, we're gonna mix up the electromagnetic environment there, or going to mess up the electromagnetic environment there. Okay, that much for today, and it's over 15 minutes already. All right, we'll continue tomorrow. Bye.